Hello and welcome to the Mental Health Show with Robert Grigore. I am your host, Robert Grigore. On this mini episode, I'm going to show you a classic tool used in EMDR therapy and other therapies called the container. And the container is a visualization technique that is used to help anybody that is more of a visual person to put distressing thoughts, feelings, memories, or upcoming stressful situations away into some form of containment within their minds, allowing you to cope with a particular situation. Okay, so I would ask first that you identify whether or not you are a visual person. So the way that I do that is to have you close your eyes and picture a red door in your mind. If you can picture a red door in your mind, then you're probably a visual person. If you can't, then it means we need to try something else. So it doesn't mean that you can't contain whatever it is that you're dealing with. It just means that probably this isn't the option for you. So assuming that you are a visual person, then what we are going to do is I'm going to outline what the container is used for, and there's some guidelines that we need here. Okay, so the container is, we're going to put something away into this container, usually in our mind, although you could create a physical container if you want. So some people that aren't totally visual, you might be able to go to that dollar store or something and you can buy a little box and you can paint it or something, and you can write little notes about what it is that you're dealing with and put it inside the box and then leave it there. That's an option. Or some people that are very handy, which is not me, but with tools and stuff, you can build your own container and you could do that. However, generally speaking, it's a visualization so that we can take it anywhere that we want. So essentially, we're going to put some distressing feeling or thought or memory or situation into this container for safekeeping. It is not sweeping it under the rug. It's actually the opposite. This is so important that now is not the right time to deal with it. So we're going to put it over here into this particular spot so that when the time is right, then we're going to deal with it. So for example, let's say you're in a relationship and you get into a big fight with your spouse. Probably not the best time to be really thinking and feeling all that distress when you're on your way to your office in the car. When you're in traffic, probably not the best time to have your focus elsewhere. So we need to put that stress and compartmentalize it away into this place so that we can then focus on the wheel and drive and make sure that we get there in one piece. Okay, so that's an idea of the container. Another way of using it, for example, would be if you've got 10 things on your mind that you have to deal with, and you can't get 10 of them done at once. You got to put 9 of them away so that we can focus on one at a time. Okay, so that's just some examples. So some conditions of the container are as follows. It needs to be big enough that whatever goes inside is going to actually fit. It needs to be strong enough that whatever goes inside isn't going to break out of it. It needs to be sealable or lockable preferably, and you're the only one that has the key or the combination or the retina scan or whatever that is, right? You're the only one that can access it. And it needs to be, on the inside, comfortable. Okay, this is not, I repeat, not a dungeon or a jail cell or detention center. This isn't torture chambers, nothing like that. Okay, so this is that comfortable place that whatever's going inside can sit and wait until it's ready to be dealt with appropriately. Okay, so those conditions again are big enough, strong enough, sealable, lockable, and you're the only one that can access it, and it's comfortable on the inside. Another condition is it cannot be something that you see on a daily basis. So like mine can't be this desk I have or this filing cabinet I have by my desk, because whenever I come down to work, I'll look at this and go, oh, the thing I didn't want to think about, there it is, crap. Okay, so it's got to be something that is not seen on a daily basis. If it is something that you have physically, it's like one of those things you see once in a while, like once a year, twice a year kind of thing. Okay, so I'm going to have you close your eyes with me if that's all right. And in your mind, think about a container. Some container that is big enough, strong enough, sealable or lockable. You're the only one that can access it, and it's comfortable on the inside. Okay, I'll assume that you have something. If you don't, pause and then come up with something and then continue the video. Okay, so assuming you have a container, so what I'll have you do is, close your eyes, and then you want to get a really good sense of this container. So first of all, if you're in first person, so you're sort of seeing through your eyes and you see your container, or you're third person, you're sort of seeing yourself as if you're looking at somebody else. It doesn't matter how your mind does this, as long as you're there. Okay, you can see the container. Some people just sort of see the container hovering around like in space, like the Matrix or something like that in that white room, or it's a scene and you see the container in the scene. Either way, doesn't matter as long as it fits for you. And by the way, whatever you build with your container can always be modified later. You can always add to it. You can expand it, shrink it. You're the charge here. Okay, you're the boss. So I want you just to go up to the container, and on the outside of the container, the first thing we got to do is we got to look around the container. So what we're doing now, when we're looking around this container, is we're assuming, or we're not assuming, we're double checking to make sure that there's no holes or cracks or leaks or rough spots or anything on the outside of this container that could suggest that it's in any way compromised. It needs to be absolutely solid, airtight, solid, strong. That's what we're looking for. So if there's windows in the container, it doesn't have to, but there is. If there are, make sure there's no gaps in the windowsill. Okay, make sure there's no gaps in the door if there's a door in there. Make sure that even like the crack around the frame, there's nothing. It has to be completely sealed. Same thing with the top. Whether it's a flat top or a roof or whatever you see, make sure that there's no holes or cracks or leaks. Okay, nothing can get out unless you say so. Okay. So now come to the front, if there's a front of it or a lid or a door or whatever, and I want you to go ahead and access that. So in your mind's eye, you close your eyes if you want to, or look at me, or whatever you need to do, but just imagine opening the container. So whether if there's a latch, then unlock it with a key if you have a key, or a combination lock, or whatever it is, handprint, retina scanner, doesn't matter. Whatever you have, make sure you unlock it. Okay, open the lid or open the door so you can access the container. And I want you to go inside the container now, or look inside the container, however you want to do this. And now on the inside, you're doing the same thing. First of all, you're looking to check what is inside. Okay, what makes it comfortable? Okay, what makes it comfortable inside? Are there is there like a soft material inside, a velvety, fabric? Are there couches? If it's a big container, is there couches inside, rug? Had all kinds of things, from fireplaces, coffee makers, and TV, bookshelves, kind of whatever you want. It's however simple, however complicated, it doesn't matter as long as it works for you. Okay, so look inside the container now, the walls of your container. I want you to make sure that there's no, again, holes or cracks or leaks or rust spots on the inside of the container, and make sure that it is totally solid, airtight. Nothing can get in or out unless you say so. Okay, and so when you're on the inside, depends on how big your container is here. Is there separate compartments for things that you want to put in and separate further? Some people like to have, like if you envision, say, a bank vault or something, you might have safety deposit boxes where you can put certain categories of things away, or a filing system where you have certain files for things that you put away, or Tupperware system, or shelving system, or whatever it is that you see. It's fine. It's also fine if you have just a blank space and you put something in the corner on the floor. It doesn't matter as long as it works for you. Okay, so notice inside, where are things going to go when you want to put them in the container. Okay. If you need another moment, pause again here, and then unpause it when you're ready to keep going. So we're going to assume now that the container has been it's you see what's inside, you know that the integrity is solid, and now what I'm going to have you do is walk out or close the lid or the door of the container, lock it one more time, make sure it's locked, okay? And then what I want you to do is, with it locked, I want you to try to open the door. Try to open it or try to lift the lid, see if you can break the lock. I want you to verify that this container is absolutely solid and impenetrable. This thing, you cannot break it. Okay, there's no way in unless you say so. You have the key or the combination, or it's your handprint or whatever it is. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's totally solid, secure, airtight, all of that. Okay, good. Now, what is a word or a phrase that will represent this container for yourself? So this is sort of one thing that you're going to do yourself, and you're going to think, you know, I want to put stuff in my blank. Right? You could just call it the container, that's fine too, or you might want to call it, you know, the bank vault if it's a bank vault, or my secure place, or whatever you might want to call it. Come up with a name that sort of suits it for you, okay? And make sure that it's good. Okay. Now, what I'm going to have you do now is we're going to try it out. Okay, we're going to try out putting something into the container to make sure that it works. Okay, now here's where I'm going to be very serious and clear that this could potentially be a little triggering for you. So if it is, I want you to pause and not do this further. Okay, my goal isn't to overwhelm you; it's to give you a practical tool. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to imagine a slight disturbance now. 0 is neutral, no disturbance at all. 10 is the highest amount of disturbance you could possibly feel. I want you to think about something that's a lower level, so 5 or less, okay, mid-range or less. I just want you to get a sense of how this works for you. Okay, I don't want you to try to push in, you know, a 10 out of 10 something right now, although it probably would work just fine, but I want you to make sure that it's okay. We're trying this out. Training wheels, okay? Training wheels today. So think about something about a 5 or less, something that's, you know, moderately distressing or something that's just kind of annoying for you. Okay, give you a minute to think about it. If you want, pause it if you want. Okay. Now, you have that situation or whatever it is. It needs to be currently distressing, okay? Not something that was distressing before, but now you kind of figured it out and you're good. It's something that you currently feel distressed about. So 0 to 5, you know, somewhere there, 5. You know, out of a 10 scale is 5, midway point. Okay. So think about that disturbing situation or thought or feeling, whatever it is. I want you to just close your eyes here, and I want you to notice where in your body do you feel that disturbance. Okay. If you can't feel it, it's fine. Okay. If you can feel it, notice where in your body you feel it. Okay. And what you're going to do is we're going to get kind of weird with this. Okay. So I want you to just bear with me. Bear with me. There's a reason why I'll say these things, even though they're kind of strange. Okay. So when you think about, first of all, if you feel it in your body, what's the size of that sensation in your body? Okay, if you can't quite feel it, just make it up a little bit, okay? But if you feel it in your body, you know, head to toe, where is it in your body? How big is it? Okay, is it like beach ball size, you know, like basketball size, softball size, hardball size, tennis ball, ping pong ball, marble, speck? Okay, what size is it? Okay. Is it spherical like the ball, or does it have a different shape? Is it jagged? Does it have edges? Is it, you know, square, an octagon? You know, what shape does it have? What color is it? Okay, what weight does it have? Is there a weight at all to it? Or is it weightless? Does it move at all? Does it move back and forth or up and down, or does it shake? Does it vibrate? Does it, what is it? How does it move? Or is it just sinking and it's sitting there? Okay. Now, is there a temperature to this sensation? Is it hot? Is it cold? Cool? Warm? Okay. Notice that. Is the sensation that you're feeling in your system, does it make a sound? Okay, if it were to make a sound, what kind of sound would it make? Or would it be silent? Okay, does it have a smell to it? What does the sensation, if you're able to smell it, what would it smell like? What kind of odor does it leave? Okay, or is it odorless? Is there a taste? Or is it tasteless? If it had a taste, what would it taste like? Okay, told you we're getting weird with this stuff, but bear with me, okay? And if you could physically reach in and touch this sensation wherever it is in your body, what would it actually feel like? What would the texture feel like? Okay. So now that you have all those characteristics of that sensation in your mind's eye and in your hands and your nose or whatever you're noticing, now I want you to picture your container. Okay, so picture your container, bring it up, okay, and unlock it, however that is, key lock or keypad or however you're going to unlock it. Open up your container, and I want you just to visualize or do it with your hands if you want. It's totally fine, but I want you to imagine reaching in, either with your hands or with some tool, okay, to reach in and pull that sensation out of your body, all of it, okay, and place it somewhere inside your container where you already plan to place things. It could be just on the floor in the corner somewhere, or in one of those compartments inside. Reminding what we're putting in there that it's going in there for safekeeping. Okay, we're not pretending that something doesn't exist. We're not sweeping it under the rug and never coming back to it. It's the opposite. This is so important. It's like museum quality important. It needs to be in its own safe space container here, right? Some secure location inside your container so that you can come back to it when it's appropriate. Okay? So notice it there in your container now. Do whatever you have to do to get it in there. If it goes in right away, it's in right away. But if some people need a little bit of coaxing with this, so maybe you need like an extra contraption to pull it out, or like Ghostbusters, if you know the show and the movie, and you got one of those like zapper things that you could like pull things with, or use the giant tongs to pull it in, like a blacksmith would use those big giant metal tongs, whatever. Massive gloves that you can use, you touch hot things, whatever, or cold things. Once you have it there in your container, what I want you to do now is close the container, close the door, close the lid, whatever that might be. Lock it up. Lock it up. Double check that it's locked. Try that handle, see if you can open it. If you can't open it, perfect. That's what we want. Okay, so notice it closed. They are locked inside of that container. And I want you to look around the container. Again, holes, cracks, leaks, rust spots. Make sure there's nothing like that. It is totally safe and secured, airtight. Nothing's coming in, nothing's coming out. It's good. Okay? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to walk. Okay? You can imagine actually this with your feet. You're going to walk a little bit. You can't see my feet, but they're going like this. I want you to imagine walking away from this container. Okay? So you're walking away, and whether you're leaving the room, you're leaving the location, or just the thing is getting smaller and smaller in this big white space in your mind or something. It doesn't matter, but I just want you to see it getting further and further and further away. You could put like a GPS on there if you want, or an air tag, so you know where it is, but Only you know where it is. But I want you to see it go far, far, far away so that it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So this is the tiniest little speck until it can't even see it. You know it's there, but you can't see it. Okay? Good. Fantastic. Good. So notice how that was. Okay? At the beginning, you had an idea of the rating scale, 0 to 10, somewhere there. I said 5 or less. So just do a check now, head to toe in your body. What's the disturbance level now for you? 0 would be neutral, there's no disturbance at all. 10 is the absolute worst it could be. Okay. You might notice it's dropped. Great. Okay. If it's dropped, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 points, whatever it is, dropped. Just notice, what does that mean about you? That you're able to actually do that for yourself. That you, the power of your mind, you can visualize this container and you can bring the disturbance level down in your body. Okay, there's a positive statement about yourself. I am capable, or I can do it, or okay, I'm learning new things. That feels good for me. This is a cool tool. Okay, something like that about, I can do it. I can use a new tool. I can learn new things. I'm capable. Just notice that statement there. Okay, and if it feels positive, only if it feels positive, you're going to cross your arms over like this, and you're going to do this 4 and no more times. So hold that thought, that sense of maybe I'm capable, or I'm in control, or I'm learning more tools, I'm helping myself, whatever it is you're thinking. As long as it feels positive, tap 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pause there, take a deep breath. Okay, I'll explain what this is later, but if it worked a little bit, or not great, not a lot, maybe like a 0.5, it's okay. You're learning something new, and we can keep practicing. The more you practice, the better it'll get. If it didn't go down at all, that's fine too, okay, because not everything works for everybody. And if that's not your thing, then something else might work better. But you can also check with yourself. Is there anything that I could add to it to make it more and enhance my container so it's bigger or stronger or more secure? Is there anything else that I can visualize helping remove this sensation from my body with, or something like that? Okay. And now what I want you to do, assuming that it's out of your system, there are some of it's out of your system at least, I want you just to imagine filling that space with something positive. Okay, wherever that sensation was, fill it with something positive, like an image, or a talisman, or a sculpture, or a light, or an energy, or water, some sort of something that feels really good to take that space. And just picture that. Good. Okay. So you can also, in your mind's eye, just imagine, without going into extensive detail, just imagine where this container, now that you have it, where it could be useful for you in your life. And just imagine using it in that scenario. Okay, so just sort of see how you might be able to use the container in future scenarios. And from my clinical experience, my oftentimes I've seen clients use it in a number of different scenarios, but I've seen a few things that work a lot. So one of those things is, it's very difficult, first of all, to use the container in the middle of something that's an ongoing thing. So if you're, heated with a partner or spouse or a business partner or a boss or whatever, and in the moment you have to stay and engage, it's kind of difficult to use the container. The container is really good for leaving a scenario behind and starting something. So there's like the next chapter, we're opening something else up, that's done, new chapter. So like finishing work and then going onto the highway or getting home, that would be a good time for it. Or getting home before you get into the house, you're in the driveway or in the garage, closing your eyes, just putting everything from work aside into the container, that's useful. Or it is possible to do something in the moment and you might be able to put away the feelings, the distress away, and then still engage. It's sort of like detaching yourself from the feelings and then just engaging in the situation more impartially, or more logically, if you will. Some strategies that I've really helped people with, and I've seen really be very useful, is actually physically getting up and moving in this scenario. So let's say you're at a restaurant or something like that, and your person you're with says something, and it's sort of triggering, and you're like, oh God, or you see somebody that and oh, it's stressful. That's disturbing. And so one of the best ways to do it, I always say, go to the bathroom. The bathroom is one of the best places that you can go, because number one, there's almost always a bathroom wherever you go, right? And you can be in the bathroom for 10, 15, 20 minutes and nobody blinks an eye. They're just like, okay, so and you can be pretty private. So even if it's individual bathroom, of course, you just close the door, it's all yours, or at least you've got a stall. So go into the stall, close the door, lock the door. You can use that for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Nobody's going to think anything of it. Come out and imagine, maybe washing your hands and looking at yourself in the mirror and just sort of patting yourself on the back a little bit. Way to go, me! I did that. I can do this. And then going back into the situation. So, or if you're at home or at the office, you can go to a separate room that isn't being used, something that feels safe and secure for you, like maybe it's a bedroom, or maybe it's a living room, or a basement, or a man cave, or a she shed, whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, doesn't matter, as long as it feels safe and secure and it's a good spot for you to go. You can do that so that you can feel better. Okay. So that's the container, and I encourage you to try that out. Please let me know in the comments how you like this, if it works for you, doesn't work for you, what happened when you did it. I'd love to respond to them and make some suggestions. And there'll be other videos that you can follow along on the channel, and other things that are being really important to be helpful for you to learn more about mental health and different techniques. So yeah, keep following. Subscribe if you like this, if you thought it was useful. Share it with a friend or coworker, colleague, whatever. I really appreciate that stuff. It helps me to build the channel more and more. So okay, this is it. This is Robert Grigore signing off. I'll see you in the next video.